Hey y'all, Matt here from RetroOnly.com. Today I'm going to be talking again about the Nintendo Switch. And specifically today I'm going to be talking about Nintendo Switch games and whether they're fun or not. Now everyone's going to have a little bit different of opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you actual gameplay from a few of the games that I and my family like the best. And then you can decide for yourself whether you think those games are fun, whether it be something that would be worthwhile for you to buy for yourself, for your kids, for your grandkids, etc. Before I hop into that, please be sure to hit the like button and then also subscribe to our channel. It really does help us out a lot and also allows other people who have this exact same question to get their questions answered. So let's go ahead and hop into the games on the Nintendo Switch and whether they're fun to play or not. Before I go into showing you some of the footage of actual Switch games that myself and my family like to play, I did want to go ahead and give you my personal opinion of whether Switch games are fun. And to that, I give it absolute yes. Now there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, I grew up playing Nintendo games. I played on the NES. I played on the SNES. I played on the N64. I even had a GameCube, and I had all of those a long time before I ever got my first PlayStation or my first Xbox. So Nintendo and all of their characters were ingrained into me as a child. So I really feel like that's why I like Nintendo games even through today. The characters, I'm just used to them. I'm used to playing Mario type levels. I'm used to playing with Luigi. I'm used to playing Mario Kart against my friends or family and trying to beat them on these tracks that seem impossible, and especially seemed impossible as a kid. So that's the first thing and the first reason why I personally feel like Nintendo games are fun. The second thing is I really do feel like many games that are designed for the Switch are designed and geared more towards kids. If you look at the most popular games that are on the Xbox or on the PlayStation, a lot of those are geared towards older people, as in preteens, teens, and even young adults as well. Whereas the Switch has some of those games, a lot of the games that can be enjoyed on the Switch are more family friendly. They're more designed to be played by kids or even by preteens. Of course, teens and adults love them too, but they're more family-friendly type games. And I, as a father, love those type of games to play with my kids, to play by myself or with my wife. And so I enjoy the games and I feel like the games are fun. Now, a couple of the games that I'm going to show you actually aren't produced by Nintendo. For example, the Lego games and the Lego series of games are also on some other consoles. They're not just for the Switch, but they are a lot of fun for kids especially. Simply because you can continually die and it doesn't hurt you. You can continually play around and do whatever you want as it's open source, or as in you're going through and figuring things out. So you don't have to follow a set plan. And also, since a lot of the Lego games and even some of the other games from Nintendo, since they're not as designed for older people, then they're not as graphic. And as a father, I really do appreciate that. So kids can have lots of fun, and I don't really have to worry as much about what the content might be on some of the games on the Switch. So let me go ahead and hop into the Switch now, right here on my TV behind me. I'll show you all of the different games that I have, the different animations, how they work, why I feel like they're fun, some things that I don't like about them necessarily as well. So I'll go ahead and cover that now. The first game that I want to show you some gameplay of and introduce to you is called Lego City Undercover. Now this game is a lot of fun, especially if your kids are younger. If you have kids that are teenagers, they probably won't enjoy this game as much. It is a lot of fun, but it's relatively easy to work your way through since there's all kinds of settings that you can use to prevent dying. There's never technically any way for you to lose the game, and it's an open source type game, so you can just go through, play at your own pace. Some people don't exactly prefer that, so let me go ahead and go into that. And I'm already partway through the game on here, as you can see. Basically what your goal is as a Lego player is you go around and you are supposed to catch the bad guys. So you're an undercover policeman, you're going through and you're catching the bad guys, and along the way you're collecting all of these little Lego studs as you're doing that. There's all sorts of little different things you can do along the way. For example, riding on cars, driving cars, all sorts of different things. Each one will give you something when you do it. So sometimes when you do something, it will give you coins. Other times it will just simply do nothing. You can also bust a whole bunch of things up, being that it's Legos, and they'll just disappear. And you're again picking up those bricks that you can use to build later on in the game. And then since it's an open game, essentially, what you have to do is you have to go around and find different things. So on this game, you might have to go in here and you have to change to different players. So right now I'm the astronaut. You can change to the robber. You're an undercover robber. And you can break open doors that have those things on them, collect those, come inside, see what's in there, and do all sorts of different things all throughout the game. A lot of younger kids will especially enjoy this game since there's not a specific thing that you have to do. For example, you can go around and you can just hop in any car that you would like to, and then you can just drive around the map if you don't want to actually do anything. My kids, I have a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old now, and they enjoy just driving around. And especially my 6-year-old son, he just enjoys driving around. You can crash the Legos, you can change to different cars, you can do all sorts of different things on this game. So this is definitely a fun game, especially if you have younger kids. Doesn't require you to actually know how to drive. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And then you can find different things to do. So all throughout the map, there will be specific things that you can do or not do. You can just simply drive around and wreck your car all day too if you want to. So that's the first game that I want to discuss. And again, that is Lego City Undercover. I find that it's a fun game, especially if the person who's going to be playing it is younger than teenage years. Again, a teenager might not enjoy that one that much. The next one I'm going to cover here is Mario Kart Deluxe. Let's go ahead and go into that game now. And it'll just take a second here to load. Of course, if you play Nintendo at all, you're going to be super familiar with Mario Kart. This is a great game that's fun for kids of all ages and even adults, to be 100% honest. I recently took this on vacation with my family, and we played Mario Kart with all of my siblings. And we're all in our 30s now, and we enjoyed playing the different games on Mario Kart with multiplayer, so you can have 2, 3, up to 4 players. You can do a single player as well. One cool thing with multiplayer, though, is you can do a versus battle just like you could on many of the original ones. And even on battle, there's all sorts of different options. So you do have to have 2 controllers connected, which I do not. But that's Mario Kart. That is a fun game. Next one is Lego Harry Potter. I'm not going to take the time to go into each of these. But Lego Harry Potter follows the same basic principle as Lego City Undercover. You're a Lego player, except for you're Harry Potter. So you literally play your way through the Harry Potter movie series as a Lego. So you have to go through and you have to beat Voldemort. You have to go through and you have to destroy Horcruxes. You have to go through and you have to do all of those sorts of things on Harry Potter. And then Lego Jurassic World is, again, you are a Lego player and your goal is to escape from Jurassic World, similar to the movie. So that's a good one. Let's go ahead and go into Luigi's Mansion here. This is a game that I personally prefer. Let me go ahead and pop that card in and then I'll get right back with you. Alright, so I got the game cartridge in and I already actually loaded up the game, so let's go ahead and go into it. As you can see, you are Luigi running around the mansion, and your job essentially is to use a vacuum cleaner, Ghostbuster style, and soak up all of the ghosts that you come across in the game. So there's all sorts of different rooms that you go to. This is actually in the basement, and then as you go along through the game, different things will come up. So that's, for example, the vision thing, and you're talking with the person, doctor, professor, something or another. I don't remember his name, to be 100% honest. But all the things it allows you to go through. We're just going to skip out of that. And it'll show you different things that you should do. They'll talk to you, give you direction along the way. Of course, it has an elevator as well. And one of the goals of the game is to go around and get the different buttons on the elevator so you can save Mario and all of Luigi's friends since they were captured by Boo and the other ghosts. So let's go up here to level 5 real fast. As you can see, I'm not super far in the game. Only had this game for a few weeks. You can even run around and move on the elevator. Loads of fun or something like that. This game I would recommend for kids that are probably 10 or older. A lot of younger children won't enjoy this game as much, simply because it's a little bit more intricate details of the game. So for example, you have to blast. That's your basically your stun gun essentially that you have to stun the ghost with, and then you have to suck them up. So there are some different things that you have to do throughout the game that might be hard for a younger child to figure out. You can suck up the different things, trying to find coins, money, all of that as you go throughout the game. Let me go over here and see if there's anything I can show you here. As you can see, you can walk around, you can go into each room. When you're in each room, you can find ghosts, or there's mice, and there's different things that you can suck up. And you're in there, So all of this is just the normal gameplay. There's spiders. You have to be careful. The spiders will eat you or hit you, hurt you. You can suck up like clothes. All of that. So it's a relatively simple game to pick up on, especially when you start from the beginning. You just figure out, once you figure out, okay, this stuns, what sucks them up, and then you can also, of course, shoot if you need to. Once you figure that out, it's not too difficult of a game. But again, it's not something that I would probably recommend for kids under the age of 10 or so. They just won't be able to get all the different intricacies of trying to capture the ghost down. So let me go over here, and we'll go and look at Yoshi's Crafted World next. So as you can see, I have Yoshi's Crafted World already up, and I even loaded it into the game, so we don't have to wait through the beginning. One thing I will mention before I go into it is the reason why I've had to kick back out and in between going and looking at Mario Kart and Luigi's Mansion and now Yoshi's is because I actually have cartridges for Luigi's Mansion and Yoshi's World, whereas these other ones are downloaded directly to my Switch. So if you digital download from the Nintendo eShop or even just buy the redemption code on Nintendo, Amazon, those sorts of things, then you just download them straight to your Switch. Then you don't have to swap in and out all the time of the cartridges, which is super, super nice. But these games I actually bought the physical copies of, so I did want to mention that. We're inside Yoshi here, and as you can see, it is the typical Yoshi game. You can fly, and I do have it on easy mode. So as you can see, I do not actually lose any hearts or die or anything like that, and that's because this is the game that my kids will typically play. So I did want to, one thing about this is this game would typically be a difficult game. However, since it has the option for you to play without actually needing to worry about dying, you don't have to worry about any of the enemies or that sort of thing, then it makes this game considerably easier. So it is like a side-scrolling game, as you can see here. You have to follow this specific path, but it's a lot of fun for kids, adults, honestly, all of the above to play. You can just, if you have kids, you can just play it where you don't have to worry about dying, or if you're like me and trying to play it while you're recording, then you don't have to worry about doing it while don't have to worry about dying. It's a nice touch to not have to worry about. So. Alright, so that is Yoshi's Crafted World, I believe is what it's called. And again, as you can see here, it's super easy. I can fly as much as I want. I can die as much as I want, and nothing bad ever happens to me. So, and you can change those settings by going to your main menu. If you start with the kids and then, as an adult, you want to actually play through the game, you can do that as well. So those are just a few of the games that I personally have for my Switch. We also have Lego Marvel Superheroes. That one I would say is probably 8 or older, but all of the games that I have downloaded for the Switch are a lot of fun. Now, if you go to the Nintendo eShop, right down here at the bottom, there will be quite literally thousands of games. So some of them will work well for you, some of them won't. That's just a part of life. But the majority of the games that I've found or come across that I've purchased for the Nintendo Switch, I enjoy them, my kids enjoy them, or both. So it really is all of the games really are a lot of fun to play. I hope that this video and this small demonstration has been helpful to you. Again, my name is Matt. I'm from RetroOnly.com. Have a great rest of your day.